tech law is a really exciting area of law, and it has really broad appeal across all genders. And we have so many interesting, talented women in the tech law sector that I think it's really great to recognize that. And I think we all know there's a lot more to do in terms of diversity at SCL, both in terms of our trustees and our membership, but we have made great strides, I think, in recent years. And there is really a very good sense of momentum here. And I know that recently we have put a call out for more applicants to join our trustee board. And we're really hopeful that as a result of that, we can just continue to increase the diversity of our trustees and build up a fantastic pipeline. But Trish, maybe I'll put it to you. How does it feel like becoming the first female chair of SCL?
I suppose first and foremost, it's kind of wow. It's that wow moment. I feel incredibly humbled. I've been a member of the SCL since I was a trainee solicitor, and absolutely seen SCL grow from strength to strength to strength. You know, it's not like we've been devoid of any female input. I believe that we've had females very much at the core of SCL from the very beginning, and that female voice. Just wanting to really honour right now some of the people that have been in the background, like Ruth Baker, and then our very own CEO right now, Caroline Gould. I just think we can't go ahead with the society saying we are the first female inputs at all, but we are taking on the first kind of significant female leadership role here, myself as chair and yourself as vice chair, which I'm very excited about. I do believe this is a monumental moment for us in the history of the SCL, not least because we are the first females in this leadership capacity, but because actually it shows that there's been a sea change in the profession, that not only are lawyers, or have lawyers been typically a male orientated, legal profession has been typically a male orientated profession, but also that tech law more nichely has also had a higher proportion of males to females in its ratio. So I think this is actually starting to recognise that the quality and the calibre of females coming through from university, through law school, into the profession, and staying in the profession and getting to the level of partner, or in my own case CEO, I think it is really absolutely fundamentally vital to recognise. Also, I feel that this also shows how we are starting to think differently about the audiences, our members, how we can help cater for them. I think the male way of thinking brings one set of thinking, and the female way of thinking brings another way of thinking. I think we have opportunities here to do things differently, lead differently, have an opportunity to bring about more diverse voices, more stakeholder engagement, more collaboration in the way that we look to lead and run the SCL going forward. Not that we haven't been doing that up till now. We haven't, you and I certainly haven't been quiet, that's for sure, on the trustee board, but that actually we can have an opportunity to really impact on strategy going forward, and particularly as we approach our 50th anniversary, as you've rightly pointed out.
Yeah, I think they're all really great points. And the other thing that really excites me, I think, about the future is the growing voice of our in-house legal community. And we know that the in-house legal community is likely to be more diverse on a range of areas than perhaps the private practice community is. So I think it was a really exciting development to me that we, created the in-house group a few months ago, and that we are starting to build a really strong community there. And again, get more diverse voices into the community to help us identify how we can best help our members across a range of areas. Obviously, we were set up as an educational charity, and a big part of our remit is still obviously driving through useful training and educational materials for lawyers across tech law, whatever their qualification. But we are much broader than that, and we are a network, a community, which brings different people together. And I think that's one of the key strengths that we have as an organization, that really has gone from strength to strength during this last 12 months during the crisis. Actually, it's been a great I think energizing factor in helping us identify how we need to adapt as we go forward. And I'm excited to work with you to really build on the lessons and the great success that we've had over the last year, and see how we can take that forward. And that's just, that's beyond the training. It is part of that wider role that we play in terms of community building and in terms of helping the next generation, become and train to be the tech lawyers of the future. It's a really exciting, I think it's a really exciting time to be a technology lawyer.
Absolutely. And as you've rightly pointed out, this last 12 months, this has really focused the mind. It's really helped us think about how can we go about leaving legacy, actually, what's really important and what matters. And so I've been really pleased to not only recognise that there are a variety of different career paths in law, and we want to affirm all of those career paths in law, including the in-house group, as we've rightly pointed out, but also to really understand what it means to be a tech lawyer in the 21st century. And that means a whole person. So I'm really excited and pleased to say that, not only have we launched the in-house initiative, but we've launched the wellbeing initiative, and we're also launching the diversity and inclusion initiative as well. And these aren't things that are just a one-off initiative, little blast, let's see where it goes. These are things that are going to be at our core and very fundamental to who we are as technology lawyers going forward. So when we talk about raising up the next generation of tech lawyers and what does that mean, I think it helps us to think and reflect about what's going to be important in the future, what are the problems the students of the future, the not yet students of the future and the not yet trainees of the future are going to have to solve. And let's get about skilling them up to do that task. And part of that has to be fundamental emotional intelligence, recognizing only our own constraints and parameters, but our own strengths as well. So I think that there's a lot to be had there. And also in a time when we've been facing a global crisis, which has caused many people to question their own personal emotional resilience, shall I say, that I hope that we can offer not only as a SCL education charity, but also SCL as a community and SCL as a support network that can provide greater support in and around well-being more generally.
No, absolutely. And what I'd like to see, and I know we're all very focused on, is how we can, be the community that is with a lawyer for their career. I mean, certainly when I was, a lawyer, and when I was first introduced to SCL as a junior lawyer, the assumption was that in most cases you will stay in private practice and maybe even at the same firm for most of your career. We know now that the world is very different. People will move organizations, a lot more opportunities to go into in-house roles in very interesting organizations. There's legal technology roles, there's academic roles, there's just lots of options to a lawyer. And I think it's great that we, with initiatives like the in-house group, but with other initiatives we're doing, if we can provide that fantastic community for our lawyers as they move through their career, wherever they end up, that's really the goal, because it's that diverse thinking that comes from having members from all sorts of aspects of the tech law community that is really helpful, and it helps continue to drive us to, help our members be, have a broader awareness about how that world of technology and law is changing. And we know it's always changing, right? That's why we love working in this area, because it doesn't stand still, right? We're just about got to grips with the last technology revolution before the next new thing comes across our desk that we need to worry about. So it's great to have a forum to connect and share with other people who are facing the same types of issue. And I would certainly say that's why SCL is important to me, and what I've come to realize the more I've got involved with the SCL, the more I get out of it. I think when I started my career, I was an SCL member because everyone was an SCL member, and I would go to events and I'd sit and I'd listen, and it was all very helpful and interesting. But I didn't really appreciate that if I got more engaged with working groups or events or communities, that actually I get so much more out of it. And certainly for me in the last 12 months, having a connection with this community of great people. It's not my family, it's not my colleagues, it's other people who have got interesting experiences, interesting insights. It's been a great experience for me to have that, build that lifeline, that access to a broader world than my four walls, which has been my life and everybody's life for the last year. So that's why I would encourage people out there, if they don't know SCL, or they think they know SCL because it's an experience they had a few years ago, then I would just really encourage everyone to dive in and get involved, because certainly my experience is you'll get an awful lot out of it. And I don't know if that's the same for you, Trish, how long your relationship's been with SCL. Has that changed over the years, and what your experiences are?
It's really been interesting to see the changes in the technology over the course of my career. And, from a debate that was about, is software that's on a CD a product or a service? What is this software as a service? And they're moving from, infrastructure to cloud infrastructure, and, cloud infrastructure to the Internet of Things and edge computing. And as we go on, and soon to be more quantum, to have had the SCL really there at my fingertips, through the magazines, through the website, through the community, has ever kept that knowledge upfront, relevant, thinking ahead. My hope for the future of the SCL is also that we get more and more involved in the emergent technologies and really have a significant say into the debates. We are a community of experts after all, and have a very unique position to bring to that table amongst other interdisciplines. And I think we are seeing, certainly in the space of AI, a group, and perhaps also in medicine as well, this grouping together of interdisciplinary expertise to have a better outcome. And so I suppose my hope for the future of SCL is that we can be part and parcel of better outcomes for all. So yeah, that's on that discussion.
I think that's a really good point, that we have a unique voice, and definitely part of our ambitions for the future is to continue to be an important voice in those kind of sector debates, and that involves collaborating with other organizations, partnering with other organizations as much as possible, so that we're really central to some of those discussions. And I think it's also a good point that you might think of us as technology law, and we're focused on the law, but actually a lot of the issues that we look at are broader than that, and they are sector focused. So yes, there's legal issues around data protection, other regulatory issues, but how do you apply them to health tech or ad tech or fintech? There are different considerations, and you really have to understand the sector to be able to advise your clients, whether they're external clients or internal clients, better. You need to understand the context. You need to understand the sort of thematic trends we're seeing across the world that will ultimately shape the law and regulation around some of these areas. So it's, again, I think that's a really interesting aspect of the role we can play, which is to help our members understand these broader themes and these broader sector challenges. And I know I'm particularly excited about our Focus on Industries series that we're going to launch this year, where we get expertise in to talk to us about those sector challenges, as well as the more detailed legal issues and considerations.
In terms of SCL and what it has meant to me over the course of my 20-year career so far, it has been, as I say, at the forefront of educating me, keeping me relevant, keeping me up to date. But much, much more than that, it has been about the community, and about, like you said, Sue, as you've put more in, you get more out. I've established lifelong friendships in this community. I've established lifelong career connections that have enabled us to either collaborate, do other projects together, or indeed be able to speak on panels together. There's been a lot coming out of the community, and I believe that with that community, we can not only support one another, sharing each other's concerns, not only for the law, but for life, but also have this great chance to think about what collaboration looks like for each of us in our own sectors or part of the industry, and what expertise we can bring to that table so that we can build that better. I think certainly after COVID, at least Brexit, don't really want to mention Brexit. the fact is that I think we can really have an opportunity through our community and through collaboration to build that better as well. But that's what the SCL has meant to me: community, and it's been about relationships, and it's been about education and being absolutely forefront and relevant. I think another challenge is how we can support our future junior lawyers. What a year they've just faced. You know, what does training look, what does credible training look like? What does moving up the career ladder look like for them? How do they get the exposure and the expertise in lockdown, in remote distance office operations? Really challenging. And thinking about that, how has it been for students? How has it been for law students? How has it been for non-law students who are looking to do their legal practice course or postgraduate diploma in law or bar school? What has it been like being at LPC level or bar school level? And what kind of fears have they had? And you know, what have they thought about exciting for the future in the midst of this kind of very concerning economic and global turndown? Do they even think that they have a job at the end of this after paying out so much in fees for these courses? Where I see the SCL being supportive of that life cycle, bringing people through studentdom, through the training into the legal specific courses as they're changing right now, and into the training contracts and beyond, is we are partnering with a number of initiatives. We have initiatives within our own SCL, but we have other initiatives that we're partnering with right now to really support not only bringing up students into the legal profession, but students from diverse backgrounds into the legal profession as well, which I think is absolutely fundamental. We've got to start from the bottom up. I'm really excited about our SCL Ambassador Network. Many of our members perhaps don't even realise that in a number of the universities across the UK, we have designated students who are the voice of SCL in their communities at university, either for bar school, the local bar school, or the local law society within that university setting. And we often have an opportunity to go and speak at those panels or events that they're running, and engage with them when we're perhaps finding ourselves resident at their university. So really fantastic to see our student ambassador network rise up. And I believe these are going to be the next generation of voices for the SCL. So as we would like to continue to support them as they go through their legal practice course. I don't think we have as much visibility at LPC and bar school yet, but we'd like to see that change. And as people come on board as trainees, so we've got this transition from student bites, SCL student bites, through to our trainee solicitors who are in the SCL, and we have an SCL dedicated group for that. And then we have our junior lawyers division as well. So we've got this trend of groups to help be there as a hub, as a support, knowledge sharing network, but also peer-to-peer understanding of what's it like to be in that position in life and in that position in your career. In terms of the challenges of what does the new role of a junior lawyer look like, we're still considering that ourselves. We are involved with our advisory board, so some of our audience and members might not be aware, but we have an SCL advisory board who have been tasked with the question of looking about what does the future lawyer, IT technology lawyer need. So at the moment we're working on some kind of green paper to produce, to raise up the bar of thinking in this area. And that will be focused largely on what are the problems these junior lawyers are going to have to solve in the future. And as we see the increase in legal tech and reg tech coming into play, what will there be in terms of work for the junior lawyer? And that's challenging. So I think we're going to see the nature of the role change. And as the nature of the role changes, we as an SCL need to adapt and adopt to try and help educate our people appropriately.
No, absolutely. And I think it's really important the voice that those groups bring to the society, you know, whether it's the trainees or the junior lawyers or the trainees, they have a perspective and they have an insight on what they need and what kind of support they're looking for, and some very interesting perspectives. And I think on the positive side, I think, you know, in a way, there's never been a better time to be a junior tech lawyer, right? A lot of the focus at the moment in law is around things like legal design, you know, and providing your legal advice in a different and interesting way. So if you haven't practiced law for 30 years, it's much easier to sort of start with a blank page and say, you know, rather than this is the way we've always done it, how should we do it? You know, what is a sort of more customer centric or a client centric approach to providing our services? And so I think there should be much more reverse mentoring happening. And SCL is a great opportunity for us to really discuss these types of topics with the junior lawyers who are not, you know, they're not bogged down with history and experience, but they've got some great ideas. And also, I think, you know, because tech law is always changing, and that's because the technology is always changing in a way. Again, you know, if there's a new technology that becomes the next hot topic, whether it's, as you say, quantum or edge computing, or it's, you know, even relatively established topics like AI and machine learning, they're always new developments. So as a junior lawyer, you can get very informed about a topic, you know, relatively quickly, and you may know just as much about that topic as someone who's been practicing as a, you know, technology outsourcing lawyer for 20 years, because it's new for everybody. So I think in a way that makes it continue to be a very exciting place to be a junior technology lawyer. You know, certainly in my organization, some of my junior colleagues really are very knowledgeable and experienced about very complex areas of technology and law, like ad tech, because they have to be, because that is where the world has gone. You know, we have lots of years of experience as more senior lawyers, which is great, and you can apply it to new technologies and new developments. But it certainly democratizes things, I think, when you have to, you know, get your head around cryptocurrency or get your head around edge computing or quantum or whatever the next new topic thrown at us is. It's an exciting area, as well as, you know, that definitely some challenges that we need to continue to support our colleagues with.
I don't think there's ever been a dull day.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the one thing that we can do through our ambassador program is we can really demonstrate how exciting an area of law this is, and we can encourage, you know, students, as you say, from all backgrounds, from all genders, from all walks of life, that this is a really interesting area to get into, and we can help you before you even turn up. You know, as a trainee solicitor at your job, you can join the community, you can learn about these things, you can learn what, you know, these experienced experts around the community think about these topics, and you have a chance to network with them and get to know them. I think that's a really valuable thing that is not largely, in my experience, available to other lawyers in other practice areas. So I think it's a great asset. And I must say, whenever I tell students about the SCL and our offerings, you know, that are available to them for no membership fee, they're really excited and keen to get involved, whether those are, you know, educational events or some of the diversity and wellbeing events that we put on.
Well, I didn't at first. I wanted to just become a trustee, obviously. But no, I've wanted to become the SCL chair because I am absolutely passionate about what the SCL has as its mission, has as its objective. I want to see people educated with tip-top, you know, legal, at the forefront, relevant education, so they can be empowered to advise appropriately and help businesses and governments and citizens in whatever role that they're in. So first and foremost, it's about education. Secondly, it's about raising up the next generation, really have some fantastic kind of thoughts and initiatives that I really want to see rolled out in that. And I suppose thirdly, it's because I felt that as a woman in the profession, and as a woman with a family behind me as well, I really wanted to stand up and be a role model, particularly for those coming up the ranks, to say that, you know, whatever career path you take, whatever family choices you choose or not choose, that all opportunities are open to you in how you lead your life and show leadership, and go on to lead beyond. I think there's a real opportunity to be a role model for other females coming up through the ranks, to say that they can too be part of a leadership role in an organisation. So I kind of wanted to significantly take the step, because I feel that we see too many men in the top roles, and really wanted to see a female lead. And I just happened to be the right woman at the right time, at the right place, I believe. Yeah, really excited to be taking this on. And Sue, what about you? Why have you felt this is a role as vice chair that you've been willing to take on? You've got a busy family life, you're a partner of a global law firm. Is it madness, or the mystique, or have you got a feeling as to what you want to bring to this initiative?
Yeah, so I became a trustee a few years ago, and it was really as a result of approaching SCL and saying I'd really like to set up a women in tech law group to promote, to profile and connect the women in our sector, given I know there's so many talented and impressive women that often don't have a spotlight shone on them. So I must say I've really enjoyed becoming a trustee, getting more involved, and I can see what we want to achieve and how much there is to do. And so when I was approached to become the vice chair in this new role, I thought absolutely, because I want to help drive forward these fantastic initiatives that we have, and make a difference to our members and to the community. And I was really delighted that I would be doing that with the first female chair. You know, it is, for me, as someone who's very passionate about equality and driving change in the profession, I think it is a fantastic step for the SCL that we have both a female CEO and now a female chair. And for me, that's really my my first approach to Caroline a few years ago about the SCL Women in Tech Law Network. This is like I've come full circle, because I've really felt, you know, I have helped make a change in the SCL, and I'm really keen to be part of the broader diversity advisory group that we've now set up, because, you know, obviously gender is only one area of diversity. We've still got an awful lot of ground to cover, and I'm very conscious that we are women as chair and vice chair. We are still white women though, and we only represent a certain part of the SCL community. So we need just to keep driving that change, I think, throughout SCL, and I'm very positive about being a key part in driving that, you know, the future SCL, and leaving a very strong legacy for the exciting, you know, technology lawyers of the future who are coming, you know, hard on our heels.
I would like to say something about the need for the chair and the vice chair role. Obviously, we've not had an official vice chair role up till now. And I personally want to say thank you, Sue, for taking up this role as vice chair, because I know, as a busy mum, as a busy business operator, and trying to run my own business and be also chair of the SCL, amongst other affiliations and initiatives that I'm involved with, I think the reality is it's going to be hard work. If we're passionate about something, we're going to put our all, not just 100%, but 110% in. And I think having someone, a safe pair of hands like you, Sue, to pass the baton to, and you to pass the baton back to me from time to time, and for us to pass the baton to the rest of the SCL trustee team. Let's just not forget them in the mix. We're going to be operating as a team, even though we're a chair and vice chair operation. I think, this is much needed for this time, absolutely. Working lives, home lives have got busier. We need to acknowledge that, and I think this is about sharing the load.